In the span of just 2 years, FC Cincinnati has gone from the undisputed worst team in Major League Soccer in their first 3 years in the top flight to the best team in the league, capturing their first MLS trophy with the 2023 Supporters Shield. Welcome back to Upper 90, where today we will be looking at how FC Cincinnati completely turned around the fortunes of their club as fast as any franchise in American sports history. We pick up our story at the end of the 2021 season, following Wooden Spoons, the not-so-positive award given to the worst team in Major League Soccer in 3 consecutive MLS seasons, though it was technically not awarded in the 2020 COVID-shortened season. They were the worst team in the league all 3 years. Cincinnati had fired general manager Gerard Niekamp and head coach Jaap Stam, as they obviously should have following that 2021 season, and needed an upgrade. As any well-run club would, they went after their general manager first. Chris Albright signed as the new FC Cincinnati general manager ahead of the 2022 season. A former U.S. men's national team international as a player, Albright won 2 Supporters Shields, 3 MLS Cups, and a U.S. Open Cup in his playing career before adding another Supporters Shield as the technical director of the Philadelphia Union. For those of you who know MLS, you will know just how impressive that pedigree is, especially winning a Supporters Shield as a technical director of the Philadelphia Union, where he played a major part in creating one of, if not the best development systems in the country over his over 7 years at the club. In fact, Cincinnati had to come to an agreement with Philadelphia in order to bring Albright to Cincinnati, which tells you just how badly they wanted him. The specifics of that deal are not public information, but 2 years later it has proved to be the best decision in club history. Upon taking over, Albright was handed a roster with talent sprinkled throughout, but tons of questionable players and problematic contracts. Since, FC Cincinnati has turned into Supporters Shield winners and the best team in MLS. So what moves made that happen? Well, Albright's first job after being hired was to make a hire of his own, a new head coach. After months-long search, Pat Noonan became that clear choice. Also a former USMNT international as a player, Noonan had MLS pedigree too, with a Supporters Shield, 2 MLS Cups, and a US Open Cup as a player. But more importantly, Noonan was an assistant in Philadelphia after previously holding the same position with the LA Galaxy and the US men's national team. Due to their previous working relationship in Philadelphia, Albright knew Noonan would be the right man for the job, despite having never had a head coaching job previously. Together, these two completely transformed FC Cincinnati from MLS bottom dwellers to MLS elite, from that wooden spoon to the Supporters Shield. So once Albright had Noonan, he got to work on a roster for his new coach, which is a move I respect because he's focused on building a roster that will work for the coach that he has. There is no point in bringing in players that may not work for the new coach. So the first move that he made was Roman Celentano, the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 Super Draft. And most Super Draft picks do not have the type of impact that Celentano has had, but as you will see, that is exemplary of Albright's strategy in finding success wherever it may present itself. In terms of the trades, he brought in Junior Moreno and Sergio Santos, respectively, from DC United and Philadelphia. These are reliable MLS players who continue to play roles for Cincinnati. Moreno a much more significant role as a starter in midfield, while Santos provides experience off of the bench in the striker position. In free agency, he brought in depth in the likes of Dominic Badji, Alec Khan, Ray Gaddis, and Alvis Powell. But as we will see later, Cincinnati actually had attacking talent, even if it wasn't used in the best way possible, so Albright had the most work to do defensively. Celentano was the first piece of that, of course, with those depth pieces helping out as well. But then, Obina Nwobodo was brought in as a designated player, and this was the biggest change that Albright has made, in my opinion. The addition of a true number 6 in MLS completely changes the game. We have seen this last year for LAFC with the addition of Ilie Sanchez on their route to the Supporters' Shield and MLS Cup. We've seen it across the league with players like Diego Chara and Darlington Nagbe in the long term. Then in mid-season, center back Matt Miazga was brought in on a TAM deal rather than a designated player spot like Nwobodo, which many other teams in MLS may have given him. All of that, of course, was in 2022. Then, prior to this 2023 season, Albright brought in Santiago Arias, which turned out to be the perfect complement to Alvaro Barreal in Noonan's adjusted system that we will get to later, which is recruiting again in tandem with the coach. He then brought in another center back, Yerson Mosquera, on loan from Wolves. And what a season Mosquera has had. This is the only loan on this list, but is exemplary of Albright's ability to, again, find the best deals wherever they may be. If it's a trade, if it's the super draft, if it's free agency, if it's a straight purchase or a loan, it does not matter as long as it benefits FC Cincinnati, and practically every move, if not every move, that Albright has made has done that. This now gives Cincinnati two top-level center backs in that back three, which we will get to soon. And during this season, he made two more major moves. He sold striker Brenner for $10 million, which is truly a testament to how well built this team is. Sold a player for a club record fee who scored 18 goals last season, and yet they've somehow gotten better. Incredible. They replaced Brenner with Aaron Bupenza, a $7 million designated player who actually clinched the Supporters' Shield with a goal in Toronto to win them that game. In my top 10 MLS summer transfers video that I did a couple weeks ago, I said he could take the league by storm similarly to his Gabonese international teammate, Denis Bouanga, and now he's done the exact same thing that Bouanga did last year in signing in the summer before clinching the Supporters' Shield for their teams. Ironically, those are the only two Gabonese players in MLS history. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but if you're looking for MLS content on YouTube, this is the channel for you. So hit that subscribe button and join the Upper 90 community. Thank you so much, and back to the video. Now that we've seen how Chris Albright completely revolutionized the FC Cincinnati roster over the past 2 years, let's see what head coach Pat Noonan did with that roster. Well, he slowly shifted from the 4-2-3-1 that Cincinnati previously played under Jaap Stam to a 3-4-1-2, which much more benefited the players that he had. Alvaro Barreal is a perfect example. He was effective as a winger, but as a wingback, he has become an all-star and one of the key pieces in this FC Cincinnati team. Brandon Vazquez is another great example who went from starting 6 games in 2021 to being an MLS All-Star, a USMNT international with interest from all over Europe. How has he done that? Well, again, changing to 2 strikers rather than 1 allows both Brandon Vazquez and Brenner to be on the pitch, now Vazquez and Bupenza, where prior to Noonan's arrival, again, he only started 6 games in 2021 because Brenner was that starter. Noonan put faith in Vazquez, made him a lock starter, and the rest is history. Even players like Lucho Acosta, the key number 10 in midfield, the creative hub for FC Cincinnati, got better. He was always impactful, but under 2 strikers again rather than 1, his goal contributions have gone from 15 in 2021 to 23 in 2022, and now 25 in 2023 with still a few games to go. There was also a philosophical change under Pat Noonan, where FC Cincinnati don't need to possess the ball in the way that they wanted to under Jaap Stam. They went from 356.8 accurate passes per game in 2021, 13th in the league, to 331 accurate passes per game in 2023, 21st in the league, a major drop-off. But similar possession numbers, just above 48%, actually says a lot. That tells you that a team who wants to possess the ball is keeping 48%, meaning their game model is not working. They're not actually keeping the ball and being successful in taking the game to their opponents. Meanwhile, under Pat Noonan, a team that doesn't need possession is keeping 48%, tells you that they are keeping with their philosophy and their game model, but also have no problem possessing when their opponent forces them to do as an intentional tactic. As a result of these changes, FC Cincinnati has gone from the worst defensive team in MLS in 2021, conceding 2.2 goals per game, to the 5th best in 2023, cutting their goals per game in half to 1.1 goals per game conceded. From an expected goals perspective, they have gone from 63.4 expected goals conceded in 2021, the second most in MLS, to 37.8 expected goals conceded in 2023, the 7th best in MLS. Offensively, they were the 3rd worst creative team in the league in 2021, with 41 big chances created. In 2023, that has become the 2nd best in the league, with 60 big chances created. They had the 2nd least expected goals in 2021 with 42.9. Now they have the 3rd most expected goals in 2023, 50.7 expected goals. Along the way, they have turned TQL Stadium into a fortress, where fans deserve credit here. They have always been strong supporters in Cincinnati, but they have only gotten better as the team has. Their average attendance has gone up 20% from 2021 to 2023. That has allowed them to go from 8 points gained at home with 1 win in 2021, where they were actually better on the road with 12 points, to now 40 points and 1 loss at home in 2023. And of course, they're not even done. But most importantly, all that has led them from 3 consecutive dead last finishes to a supporter shield as the top team in MLS in 2023. So a huge congratulations are in order for all FC Cincinnati fans, and of course to Chris Albright and Pat Noonan for being the 2 main culprits behind making this happen for FC Cincinnati. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscription. It really helps out the channel. I will see you next time.